Well, let me tell you something, brother.
Snort, snort, snort.
Hogan. Drip.
Snort, snort.
I got the drip. Go. All right, so if you guys are enjoying the stream, if you could support it in some way, I would really appreciate it.
You know we had to start off with the beg segment, and it's the unrecorded beg segment no less, because he sure would hate for his on-demand viewers to have to sit through one of his typical begments. Those are reserved exclusively for the dents who show up every single day in the streams, or the on-demand pre-stream viewers, because DSP doesn't bother to cut the begging out of the pre-stream, he just treats them as if they're second-class citizens.
Whether that be a tip, a membership, a gifted membership, super chat, anything appreciated today. You know, my goals, number one, to try to get members back up to where they were around 650 they were last month, and then we lost a bunch this month. I would love to hit that by the end of the month. And also, my goal is to hit the tier 1 tips goal every stream. All those tips literally came in during the pre-stream.
It is absolutely insane that this guy has the gall to ask for 137 additional members by the end of the month. Because the end of the month when this was recorded was actually 7 days away. He wanted 137 members in 7 days. When on average he has, what, 300 viewers? Like, who is gonna get these additional memberships? And as you heard at the end there, he's really worried that Mario isn't making him any money because none of the money that he has received so far has come during the Mario gameplay. But he's 2.5 hours into the stream and he has received $0 in tips since he started playing Mario.
Since I started playing the game, I haven't gotten a single one. So if you're enjoying the game, tipping would be a great way to support it, and I would appreciate that. Let's at least hit the tier 1 today, okay? All right.
Spoiler, this did not happen. We did not wind up hitting the tier 1 goal, folks. In fact, this was a historical stream right here.
All right, here we go. All right, is it time for a bubble blow? Indeed. Thank you all for the likes and engagement on the stream today. Let's do a celebratory bubble blow for you all.
Oh geez, guys, a bubble blow for us, me and you together right now? Say it ain't so. This is so romantic. Or I mean, very cool and fun and chill and meaningful curated content style experience.
If you are enjoying what you're seeing, if you could support the stream today in some way, I would appreciate it. Liking is great, but other ways to go above and beyond would be super chats, memberships, gifted memberships, and tips. We literally haven't been getting anything since I started playing. So I guess people like the podcast, but for some reason they're not supporting Mario today. I don't know why. Anything would be appreciated. Seriously. Like I said, my goals are to get more members for the month to make up for the ones I lost, and also to hit the tier 1 tips goal. We haven't had a single tip since I played Mario for the last 2 hours, so...
I don't know why he's acting surprised about this, though. Because DSP is the first person to tell you that his audience doesn't like Nintendo games. They don't support during Nintendo games. They just get bored and they don't interact with him at all. He said this the entire time that he played Tears of the Kingdom. He swears to God that his audience cannot stand Nintendo games. That they have some weird vendetta against Nintendo. When the reality really is that DSP is the one that has a weird vendetta against Nintendo because of amiibos of all things. I personally think that his audience doesn't support during the Nintendo games because he's just not very exciting to watch, especially when playing Nintendo games. He doesn't have anything interesting to say or any interesting insight into Mario games, so he's literally just playing a 2D Mario game. There's nothing exciting going on. And his Zelda gameplay is always just absolute 1,000-yard stare boredom. And then he'll tell you that the game has too much padding even though he's just running through it and not actually doing any of the optional dungeons.
Anything appreciated, okay, guys? All right. Let's do the celebratory bubble blow for you guys. That was a nice one. You want to know why? Because my fan's off now. Because it's the fall and it's so cool, I don't need the air circulation in here anymore. The bubbles will be nice from now on. Seriously, the bubbles will be nice clean blow. So
DSP has been rewarding his audience with shitty bubble blows for how long on purpose now? I mean, he instantly knew it was because the fan wasn't on, which makes me think that he knew that they were shitty because of the fan the whole time. This man wants to get up and close the window every 15 seconds due to the sunlight, but couldn't be bothered to get up once a stream to turn off the fan so he could give his audience a proper reward of a bubble blow. And I know it's stupid to harp on that because it is just a stupid, dumb bubble blow that nobody actually cares about and is just goofy to begin with. But it's really just the principle of the thing that this is supposed to be a reward for his audience giving him 100 likes. It's supposed to be a reward for engaging with his content, and he can't even be bothered to get up once a stream to turn the fan off to make sure that it's even decent.
thank you to William, who just did a super sticker. I appreciate that, William. Thank you for that. You're still on the leaderboard from the last super chat you did earlier. So I don't even have to update that. Thank you, William, for that. Okay.
Now, I know that DSP just received a $2.99 super sticker, right? But going off of DSP's own rules and his leaderboard at the bottom, he does still technically have 0 tips for the Mario stream, because a super sticker or super chats do not count. For some reason, DSP insists on treating them as if they're 2 different things just because YouTube is taking a cut out of one of them.
So onward, everyone, if you're enjoying Mario, please remember to like the videos and leave comments to help out with engagement. I'll see you in the next part. All right, so guys, I'm going to take a brief break to see what my wife is up to because she's home. I just want to see how she's doing, and then we're going to continue on for about another hour. Again, guys, any support today would be appreciated. I don't know what's going on with Mario. That support is like dead today. It hasn't been like this to other streams, so it's kind of weird, but I would appreciate if you support in some way, okay? I'll be right back.
If you're a viewer that is only listening to the audio portions of this, I've been counting what times DSP has been doing his beg segments, and between this one and the last one, it's only been 10 minutes. This dude gets on his level 1 pre-stream every single day and tells you that he has to do his plug segments and he doesn't like to harp on it, that he only does it a few times throughout the entire stream and it's not obnoxious and it's so much better than ads and plug segments and this, that, and the other. But he actually just begged for support 10 minutes apart. And the first begment was only an hour ago, so there's been 3 begments in 2 hours. But he loves to get on stream and act like a 30-second plug segment at the beginning is so much worse than 3 separate begments in the span of 2 hours. On what planet?
All right, guys, we're going to continue on. Thanks again for being a good audience and chilling. Again, last time I really want to mention it because I just want to enjoy the game for the next hour. If you can support the stream in some way today, please do. As you can see, it's a really slow stream, and I don't know why. It's a brand new release. The game is great. We all seem to be enjoying it. It's just so weird that sometimes you get a crazy, well-supported stream, and then all of a sudden there's like a dead day. And today we've got, literally, I haven't received a single tip since the game started. All the tips came in during the pre-stream, right? And since then, I think we had like 2 super chats all day, no members, and it's like, I'm playing the hot new releases. They're fun. I'm enjoying. You seem to be enjoying. So the philosophy is, if it's good and people will support it, I guess not.
So he got up and walked away to check on Kat. It took him 6 minutes to come back, and the very first thing he did was beg some more. And of course, while he's begging, he's like, well, I'm playing new releases, as if that actually means anything to anybody. Nobody is inclined to give you extra money or any money at all just because you're playing a new video game. I really don't understand where that logic even comes from. I've never heard any other content creator imply that they were supposed to be making money because they were just playing a new video game. And he also throws out the tried and true DSP logic of, well, I'm having a good time and you're having a good time, so therefore their support should just be rolling in, when that's not how that works at all. Nobody is inclined to give you money just because they're having a good time on a service that you provide technically for free. I mean, how many times have you seen a street performer be upset because the crowd wasn't throwing money into their hat while they were performing? I mean, maybe you have, but that doesn't make it right. When you do something like this, or like street performing, or even the videos that I do, you have to really have the understanding that there's a potential that nobody is going to support and that they're just going to be entertained and then leave. If you're not okay with that, if you're going to bitch and moan and complain the entire time, then it's probably just not for you. Be grateful for those that do support and just shut up.
Sometimes I guess not, and it's weird because this did get support previously. So why is today a dead day? I don't know. You know, I just hope the whole day's not dead. Maybe with Spider-Man tonight it'll pick up. I don't know. You know, but I don't want to sit here and talk about it all day. I like playing games and enjoying them. But I want to make it aware that, yeah, it would really be helpful if we could get some support before the end of today's stream. Okay?
We know, DSP, you've mentioned it 4 times now in the past 2 hours. And you're really just stating the obvious. Of course, it would be really beneficial and nice if people gave you money. I'm sure everybody feels like that all of the time. I don't know why, again, you would waste your breath and our time by saying it at all. Let alone for the 4th time in 2 hours. And surprise, this is going to be another double feature. Because not only did he cry and whine the entire stream about how he wasn't making any tips on Mario, but then when the stream ended and he got to the end of the night and it was actually a 0 tip stream, he decided to cry and whine about it on the daily wrap. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at that as well, because this is a historical moment. As far as I know, DSP has never made actually $0 during a gameplay stream. And yes, I know it said that there was $25 on the board because of the podcast / pre-stream garbage that he does at the beginning, but that doesn't count. This is about Mario.
Sadly, now 10 hours in, I hate to say it, what's happening with every single Mario game is happening again. My audience is disengaging.
If I didn't have audio on for that and I just had to read his body language and look at how sad he is, I would have thought that like he said his dad died or something. He just sounds so depressed about it. But I mean, given the relationship that he has with his parents, or rather lack thereof, I'm sure that this is probably actually more saddening to him.
And I don't know how to make people like Mario. I really don't. Like, I love it. I have passion for it. When I play, I'm reacting. You know, when I lose a lot or I die a lot, I'm like, ah! And then when I'm having a good time, I'm singing along to it. That's exactly, I mean, I'm trying to show as much love and passion for the game as I can because I really, really like it.
Making noises of grief and singing along to songs is not exactly the most entertaining and passion-filled thing that you can do, though. I don't know anybody that's tuning into a streamer just so that they can make guttural noises when they die and then sing annoyingly to songs that don't have words. And he's not even a good singer, and all of his lyrics that he does make up just suck. I mean, that's really the most obnoxious thing that he does. I mean, heaven forbid it's an orchestral piece with a choir, because he really tries to hit those like opera singing notes and it is god awful. But yeah, the dude's not exactly providing quality content.
But for whatever reason, whenever I play a Mario game, whether it's Super Mario Odyssey, whether it's a 2D platformer, whatever it may be, it seems like it just doesn't resonate that well with my audience.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. He just can't accept the fact that when he plays these Nintendo games, he is not entertaining. He is not exciting. I mean, he's not particularly entertaining or exciting ever when he plays games, but that's besides the point, obviously. But he is exceptionally dull at Nintendo games. And I really can't put my finger on why that is. There's just something about DSP playing Nintendo games that just feels off. It's not the same kind of content that he always does. Let me know if you guys feel the same way in the comments and why, because I really can't put my finger on why that is.
I don't know if my audience isn't the type that likes Mario. I really don't know what it is. But yeah, and particularly it's usually first party Nintendo games, but I've noticed like Metroid Dread actually did quite well. I would argue that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom did good, didn't blow me away, but still was a pretty darn good playthrough that had a following.
Just for the record, DSP absolutely hated playing Tears of the Kingdom pretty much all the way through. Every stream that I tuned in, he was just complaining about something. He even went semi-viral on TikTok for being terrible at the game. He complained the entire time about how all of the optional stuff is just fluff and padding and how it's way too long of a game, and he doesn't want to learn the complex mechanics of building things to actually improve his gameplay at all. And notice that when he talks about him playing Tears of the Kingdom, and he says specifically that it was a darn good playthrough that had a pretty good following. Not that he had fun, not that he enjoyed the game, not that there was aspects that he enjoyed, does not mention any of that at all, just that it was a good playthrough, probably because of numbers and support, and that it had a following. These are the things that are important to DSP.
But now we're 10 hours in, and I'm going to be honest, here's what happened today. The audience for Mario didn't really pay attention to the game. I'd say there was a small handful of people who were having a good time and were talking about the game and helping me with challenges and things. Outside of that, everyone went off on their own tangents, started derailing, started talking about nonsense, started spamming the chat with emotes. They thought it was funny, like a 4-year-old, to spam the chat with an emote over and over. And it's like, you know, that ruins the spirit of the stream. It does.
But why is that, DSP? Why does your chat interacting with each other and talking about things that aren't part of the gameplay ruining the spirit of the stream? Are you not interested in building a community where the people get along and interact with each other as well as you? I know that the answer is no, if they're not specifically helping you with the game, which is the strangest thing to have to say, that if they're not specifically helping you with the game, then you don't want them to chat at all, unless they're going to support. Those are the two things that you'll actually allow, is helping you with the game and supporting. That's it. If you're not doing that, don't talk. And I mean, it's a 2D Mario game. There's not exactly a lot to talk about. The gameplay mechanics are pretty basic. It's just a 2D platformer. A 2D platformer that you're not even particularly that good at.
When people aren't engaged in what's going on the stream, then why are you there?
But DSP, if they're talking with other chat members, then they are engaged with what's going on in the stream, because your chat is part of your stream. When I watch other detractor channels and I join in on their streams, their chat is one of my favorite parts. And if you're wondering, I'm specifically talking about the Raw Phil chat right now. Shout out to all of those guys.
Right? And I don't know if it's the game. I don't know if it's a concerted effort by certain people to try to derail the stream.
And there's conspiracy side Phil again. Yes, DSP, there's a cabal of people that are going specifically to your Nintendo game streams and trying to derail the chat, because they just hate when you play Nintendo games, I guess. You see how silly that sounds, though? But the problem, it can never just be him, you know? Because I would imagine that it's a safe assumption that if your chat is not engaging with the content that you're putting out, and they're not finding you particularly engaging specifically, then the problem is you. You just need to do a better job at entertaining your own chat and keeping them engaged with the content that you're putting out.
I don't know. I really don't know. This happened to me as well back when I was playing Super Mario Odyssey in 2017, which was my game of the freaking year that year. I was loving every moment I played this game, and about halfway through the game, all of a sudden, my audience disconnected. They were like, man, Mario's just kind of mid. It's not that interesting. Because no one said mid 6 years ago, but you understand what I'm saying.
I have no evidence to back this up. I'm just going based off of my memory. I was alive at least 7 years ago, believe it or not. And I want to say that people were still using mid 7 years ago to describe a variety of things on the internet. Just because DSP wasn't using or aware of the word mid being used doesn't mean that people weren't doing it.
And like, man, it's just kind of average. It's kind of blah. It's not that good. I was like, what are you talking about? The game is innovative. It's great. It's got great graphics. It's got creative puzzles. It's got all these new elements to it. How can you not love it or at least like this game? And people would still just sit there and criticize it.
I mean, maybe the problem wasn't the game, though, DSP. Again, maybe the problem was you. I know that's difficult for you to understand, but again, sometimes it's just not the game. Sometimes it's the creator. And just to poke a little hole in your theory here, DSP, if you're not particularly into platformers, Mario Odyssey is not going to particularly appeal to you just because the graphics are good and the puzzles are good, or however you want to put it. Just because it was your game of the year doesn't mean that everybody else has to love it. That's not how these things work.
And I feel like that's kind of what people are doing now with Mario Wonder. It's kind of boring now. Boring? Every stage I go into, there's something new and different and original and fun. And it's boring.
But again, DSP, just because that's how you feel about the game doesn't mean that your audience has to feel that way. And aren't you supposed to be curating your content for the audience that you have? Isn't that what you're always going on about, being a content curator? So if your audience doesn't want that content, why would you continue to give it to them? Now, I understand you're not going to make everybody happy all the time because that's just not possible. But you're supposed to be this wonderful content curator that curates all of their content for their specific audience, and they love everything that you put out. But here they are giving you feedback that this is not specifically what they want, and you're sitting here complaining about it.
So I don't know if it's a group of people actively trying to derail the stream. I don't know what it is, all right? But the thing is, I'm enjoying myself. I'm loving this game, okay? So I'm not giving up on it. I love it. I'm on World 4 of 7, because I think that there's 6 main worlds. Then there's the, excuse me, Pedal Island, which is the outskirts of the main major base and the final level of the game. So I would say 10 hours in, we're probably halfway, if not even a little further than halfway into it. And I'm absolutely loving it. I can't wait to play it again. Seriously.
Well, I'm glad that you enjoy the game, DSP. It's nice to hear that you're actually enjoying a game for once. But might I recommend that if your audience isn't enjoying it and you are, that maybe you play it off stream? I mean, the game is on the Nintendo Switch. You could just pick up the console in your free time and play through a couple of stages in your living room while you're watching other content creators that you claim you're better than. I mean, that's just an idea. You can put it in the suggestion box and look at it in November when it's not relevant anymore.
But I was very disappointed with the way that the stream went down, with people not engaging, not paying any attention. And I'll be honest, it was actually one of the least supported streams I've had in ages.
You hear that, Dents? Grandpa DSP is disappointed. You should feel bad and ashamed. He's not angry, he's just disappointed. And we all know that that hits so much harder.
Listen to this, $25 in tips. That's fine. They all came in during the pre-stream podcast. Every single dollar came in during the Level 1 podcast. Since when I started playing the game, it was like a switch flipped. And people just, that was it. It was like a big disconnect. I was like, how is it? I just played this game for 3 hours. I loved every moment. And people literally paid no attention. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people paid literally no attention to what was going on the stream. And 0 contributions came in. It's crazy.
I mean, it's not really that crazy to me, because if you ask me, or probably anybody watching this video, you deserve $0 a day, because you don't actually provide any content that's worth anything.
Because again, my philosophy has always been the following. If I am enjoying a game and I am showing that passion for the game through the stream, then people in turn will enjoy to see that true passion come through. They'll enjoy watching the stream. They'll engage with me, and that's when support comes. That did not happen today with Mario, and I don't know what happened wrong. I need feedback on what happened.
Okay, but where's the part where you try to entertain your audience? I think that's a key component that you're leaving out. People aren't just going to enjoy your streams because you're having a good time by yourself. I think you just fundamentally misunderstand what the exchange between you and your audience really is. You are supposed to entertain them, and then they just might support you. And I'm not saying that having passion for what you do and actually enjoying the games doesn't help you be more entertaining, because it definitely does. But enjoying a game is not the end-all be-all to being entertaining for an audience. And he keeps talking about showing his passion that he's experiencing for the game because he's enjoying it so much. Well, how is that being expressed to DSP? Because if it's not being expressed in an entertaining way, then it's not useful to you at all.
Is it the game? Is it that there was a bad audience, you know, of trolls? I don't know. I don't think they were trolling, but there's definitely people who come in here with a bunch of clone accounts and they try to derail. I ended up banning like 20 of them today. I just had like enough. I was like, enough of this nonsense.
And I have no idea why DSP continuously brings up sock accounts and banning them all the time. Like, this is the exact reaction that they want out of this, and he gives it to them every single time.
Because when I get messages that are like, every time I go to your chat, it feels like a good old boys club of people meeting up and talking amongst themselves. They don't even pay attention to your stuff. I'm like, well, I've had enough then, you know? So I shut that down. You know, that's not going to keep happening. And the more I notice it, the more I will take those people out of the chat.
So again, anybody that is engaging with each other and talking amongst themselves during the stream is just going to be removed. So any community that DSP has garnered himself that actually enjoys being there with other community members might as well just, well, the mods will know whose skulls to crush.
But I am upset. I'm upset that I'm loving Mario, but the audience isn't. And the question I have is why? Why not? Because I love it. I'm having so much fun with it. I want to I have a very strong desire to 100% it. And I don't know why it's not resonating with the audience.
Just because you love the game doesn't mean your audience does, though. Come on, dude. If you have a YouTube channel that's about racing cars, and then one day you decide to do, again, racing content, but instead you're racing motorcycles, and your audience is just like, well, we don't like motorcycles, we prefer the cars. You don't just get to say, well, I love motorcycles, so why isn't my audience loving the motorcycles? Because it's just not what they want. They don't find it entertaining, regardless of whether you do or not. So you can either continue doing what you like, which is apparently 100%ing Mario, and hope that your audience either toughs it out or you get a new audience, which just isn't gonna happen. Or you can quit playing it for the stream and maybe play it by yourself solo and actually enjoy your time off by playing Mario.
Please give me feedback, okay? I would love feedback, because the last thing I want is that everyone's loving one game, but they're not liking the other. Because we got another game coming up on Friday. We'll talk about that in a second. And then we got Spider-Man continuing, and I'm going to keep playing Mario. I don't want it to, every time I have to push in Mario, everyone's complaining, oh, God, he's playing Mario? Why is he playing that one? Just keep playing the other two. You know, I don't want that. I want to know what's happening.
But DSP, that is feedback. Them saying, oh my god, he's playing Mario, why don't you play one of the other two games, is feedback. They don't want to see the game. You don't have to understand why. They don't need to give you some deep insight into their brain and their reasoning behind not enjoying Mario content. It's just not for them. Leave it at that.
Because I didn't see this at first, and now I'm seeing it, and I'm like, what happened? You know? So let me know. All right, give me your feedback on that. Thank you all. Great streaming day again. Overall, fun. Just really want to get to the bottom of the Mario situation.
The Mario situation. Meaning he wants to understand why nobody is giving him money while he plays Mario. That's a hell of a situation to be in. And if I'm honest with you, it's a situation that I'm kind of in because I've also never been given money for playing Mario. Maybe I should start looking into that.
What happened that people just don't like Mario anymore? It really drives me nuts because I'm loving it. And I hope that we can get that attitude flipped and get more people who will engage and talk about the game and interact with me and support the stream rather than sit there and complain or ignore it. I couldn't believe that today. I'm like, what happened? So,
I mean, you can't make them enjoy the game if the game is truly what they don't enjoy about the content. I mean, the only other thing you can really do is just tell them not to watch, but I don't recommend doing that because your viewer count is already pretty low, dog. But that's gonna do it for today's video. Another double feature for you. Of course, another big shout out to Snort Hogan for the clips, brother. I always appreciate it. Thank you so much. And a big shout out to all of you guys for watching. I also really appreciate that. Just recently, we passed the 2,000 subscribers mark, which is crazy to me. Insane to me that 2,000 people actually care enough to hear me talk about the guy online. Hopefully I'll catch all of you guys in the next video, but until then, make sure that you check out other detractor channels and dive deeper into that Snortex.